horror fam? You know what time it is.
And today we're talking Pazuzu.
Let's get into this. All right.
Yeah.
We're back with another episode
Another one.
Our buddy's back of the Horror Chronicles podcast. I'm your host, Ryan.
Look at that guy.
What's up, everybody? What's going on, horror fam?
What's up?
You know what this place is. It's the damn Horror Chronicles podcast.
Fucking chaos.
You know who
Anarchy.
we are.
Cats and dogs sleeping together.
JT's over there
love it.
talking about nothing.
Talking about
Breezy's-
Ghostbusters, motherfucker.
Breezy's
Motherfucker.
over here talking about motherfuckers.
Motherfuckers. I'm trying to help you, motherfucker.
That's never going to get old.
No.
No.
Anyways, guys, as you heard, we're talking about something that maybe some of you don't know about. We're
Maybe
gonna
you
do
do. Maybe
we're gonna
you
do a serial killer episode,
Yeah.
and this feller's name, well, kind of a serial killer. Who knows how many people he's fucking killed, really?
Right.
So
Yeah,
this
we really don't know.
this feller's name is Pazuzu
Algarad.
Some of you may know the name Pazuzu from where? From where?
The exorcism.
The Exorcist. So yeah, Pazuzu was
Sexorcist.
Yes.
Pazuzu was the name of the devil or the demon, but they said it was Satan himself.
Actually, in all honesty, Pazuzu was the king of the demons back in Mesopotamian.
King of the demons.
Yeah.
Sounds like a fucking nice guy.
I want to party with you. No, I really don't want to.
So yeah, guys, this guy wasn't too long ago, really. You were kind of mentioning that the other day.
Yeah, when we first started talking about this guy, I thought, oh, okay, we're going to have to go back. Well, yeah, we went back, but it was just a few years.
Oh, yeah. It's a recent case for
Yeah,
sure.
very recent.
And I had no idea until Breezy brought it to our attention. She's like, you guys got to check this out. Let's do an episode. So I started to watch I think I got through the first episode. That was like a 5-part series on
What's it
him.
called? The Devil Inside
The
Me?
Devil You Know.
The
The
devil,
Devil
you know.
You Know. Check
It's
it out,
called
guys.
The Devil You Know on YouTube. I got it off of YouTube. It's a Vice TV, Viceland show. That's where we got most of the information, or for me anyways, from that.
Yeah.
It's a great little, I say great. It's an interesting,
It's a good part series.
yes, interesting watch.
Somebody like that.
We got to play some Anthrax in this episode.
You gotta go with the devil you know.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's interesting, and it kind of, once we start getting into this, guys, and you hear the way this guy lived and the things,
this guy.
yeah,
Yeah.
So we're
Pretty
gonna
rough,
we're gonna
pretty
get into this, but where do you start with all this? Well, you start at the beginning.
At
No.
the beginning.
No, I'll tell you where you start.
Shut up, JT. This is Breezy's turn to talk.
You can find us on Facebook.
Yes.
Oh yeah, forgot, guys.
And this is JT, Ryan, and Breezy.
Yeah, no, you can find us. You can find us on Facebook, guys, for sure. If you're just,
You can listen to us anytime on iTunes, Spotify, Stitcher, Castbox.
Yeah, and Cranium Radio on Friday nights, 9:00, and we're gonna try to be in there in the chat room with you guys. So if you guys come over there, check out Cranium Radio, craniumradio.com, and come over and say what's up. Listen to the episode.
Yeah, definitely.
But for sure, guys,
Check them out anytime, 24 hours a day. They play killer music.
24/7.
Hell yeah.
So if you're listening to this on Cranium Radio right now, rock on.
We love ya.
But
Anyway.
guys, for sure, check us out on Facebook because we're very active on Facebook, and that's a good way to get a hold of us. If you want to come on the show, we're always looking for guests. We do at least one guest a month. So if you want to come on the show, or we can do phone calls, or if you have a story you want us to tell, we can do that for you too. Send it on an email, horrorchroniclespodcast@gmail.com. And that's Horror Chronicles, not the Horror Chronicles Podcast, gmail.com. And let us know what's going on, and we'll tell your story for you. It could be anonymous. It's all good. But definitely come check us out. We do a live show every last Saturday of the month, which we're doing tonight. You guys won't care because you're listening to this on Thursday or Friday.
Yeah, but hey.
But anyways, that's the business. We're done with doing the business. Let's get down to the nitty gritty and the beginnings of this
Get it, girl.
young
Story.
Pazuzu's life.
Get it, girl.
All right, so he was born. His real name is actually John Alexander Lawson, and he was born on August 12th, 1978, in San Francisco, California. And at some point, him and his mom ended up moving to Clemens, North Carolina.
North Carolina.
North Carolina. Pazuzu's childhood is kind of hard to grasp the true past history with him. The main reason why is because, when everybody was wanting to learn more about him, he kept on reinventing his past. He ended up coming up with stories like he's from Iraq. He told people that his father was some kind of high priest. But the people who knew him as a child described him as a little off and a little emotional.
Go figure.
That guy's got issues, man.
Daddy wasn't there.
And he was a good-looking kid, too.
Yeah.
When you see pictures of him, I mean...
Played football.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I blame it on
Like a normal
CTE.
kid.
There you go.
But yeah, well, I say blame it on that, but his violent streak, which we will probably get into, started young.
Oh, yeah.
So,
Oh, yeah.
Well, you talk about how they got to North Carolina. Well, his father was from California, and they ended up moving, the whole family moved to North Carolina. And then whenever the wife and the father
Yeah.
divorced, he ended up moving back to California. They divorced in 1990, and he moved back to California, and her and John stayed in Clemens
Yeah.
after that.
Oh, yeah.
it's going to get interesting, folks.
Yeah,
it's going to
it's-
get
it's,
interesting.
He would harm animals, and he consumed a lot of alcohol and drugs at a very early age.
didn't we
Pazuzu's mom, Cynthia, spoke of her son's mental health issues. And they ended up actually losing the insurance because the mom couldn't afford it. He was diagnosed with several mental illnesses, including schizophrenia and agoraphobia. In 2002, he changed his name to Pazuzu Algarad.
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 Pazuzu Algarad.
There you go.
Well.
Pretty much a
Yeah,
homage to The Exorcist, like
Yeah.
Brian said earlier.
Right. And he used to tell people that his parents named him after the demon on The Exorcist. It's kind of weird because apparently in California it's very easy to change your name.
Oh, yeah.
It's very easy to change your name anywhere, really.
Well, apparently it's a lot easier in California.
Well,
Because whoever looked at that application went, what the fuck? All right, whatever.
I want my name to be Tal.
Call me Tally.
Well, what was Michael Jackson's son's name was Blanket, so I mean, there you go. Anyways, back to this crazy fuck.
So I kind of wanted to get into the society outlook to tell you a little bit about the town as it is.
Do it.
After he changed his name, Pazuzu aimed to ostracize himself from society, covering his face with tattoos, getting strung out on meth, and considering to file his teeth into points. That's what
Yeah.
one of his friends ended up saying. He ended up getting
Yeah.
high on meth
Yeah.
and just chiseled
His teeth down. Which is going to come into play later on.
Yeah.
Dun, dun, dun.
He also split his tongue
Yep.
so that it was forked.
Yeah. And,
Guy's a real winner.
well, we didn't talk about it really, but I think it said when he was 8 is when he started attacking his mom.
Yep.
For the first time.
Yep.
So he's got a very violent past, especially with his mother, who, by the way, lives with him in this house.
Yes. And sees everything.
And we're going to get into all that, but it's crazy.
He would tell people that He did animal sacrifices and even claimed to be able to control the weather. According to a psychiatrist, Pazuzu bathed no more than once a year and didn't brush his teeth in years.
Yeah.
Like, this is pretty much giving you guys a picture of like,
Well, and they said
what
he
kind of person this person is.
drink
like,
blood and ate the freaking body parts of like raw animals and this and that. And wouldn't- but like, you know, getting into that, because you were talking about, you know, how he doesn't bathe and all this stuff. The stories that you're going to hear, some of the things that we're going to tell you that people have said, I don't even understand how anyone could fucking live in these conditions.
those conditions, like
Like,
seriously.
Not brushing your teeth alone, dude. Fucking halitosis is real, dog. Man,
Yeah.
let me tell you, like, I couldn't imagine just knowing what we're gonna get into and the amount of even females that have been around there.
Yes.
God, yeah, this fucking blows my mind.
So I'm going to give you guys a little picture. His behavior was a major rebellion against the town, Clemens, and its residents. The town was known for being heavily,
Religious,
yes,
yeah.
heavily a Christian community. And they believed in demons and all this.
Yeah, they had
so-
a very strong belief in not only, you know, a religious belief, but a belief in good versus evil. They believed that evil and good were fighting constantly, and it was a battle that, you know, that was going to come to a head one day. It's crazy.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, it's not crazy, really. It is what it, I mean, it's true. There is evil, there is good. But, you know, it's just something to describe the town and the way these town folks were. You know?
Now, I want to talk about a little bit of his character, just a little bit of similarities that I feel like kind of reminds me of somebody else from the past. He kind of had the same persona as Charles Manson.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Pazuzu drew in others who felt socially excluded towards him and encouraged them to engage in pretty much everything bad that you can think of.
Yeah, orgies, freaking
Yes.
all the drugs. Like, I mean, I don't know where you're going with it.
Oh, yeah.
If you're getting into describing the house and whatnot.
And he would actually tell people that he felt like he was the combination of Charles Manson, Anton LaVey, and Aleister Crowley.
Yeah.
He pretty much wanted the misfits. He wanted the outcasts.
Yeah.
People living on the edge or people who wanted to live on the edge.
Living on the edge. Oh, sorry.
Go.
He also had
I just about doo-dooed my pants. But okay.
hey, a little doo-doo there.
Doo-doo.
JT got a little doo-doo there.
Well, if you live in this house, you can do it in the corner.
Woo! Just go over there.
Ugh.
Just go over there in the corner.
Ugh, God.
I don't care.
There is a bucket over there if you need to go.
Okay, now
Well, I was
know.
talking about the house in fucking Pazuzu's
I
house.
thought you
Yeah.
were talking about my house.
No.
Pazuzu's house. I would never shit in the corner of your house.
No.
I pissed a lot in the corner
I'm
of your
like,
house.
are you okay, JT? I am not doing that.
That's what that smell is.
Oh, smell of excellence.
Love it.
Piss is
Love
excellent.
it. But yeah, Pazuzu also had a way of attracting women.
Yeah, and I don't get that. 'cause
Well, I can tell you
Amber
this
exactly.
guy was an
Birch.
ugly motherfucker.
I can tell you what it is. It's the heroin and the meth.
Yeah,
Yeah.
And the coke.
Yeah.
And the drugs.
It's all the powder.
The beer.
And that- yeah.
I mean,
Yeah. Supplying.
disgusting.
Amber Birch and Crystal Matlock were pretty much two of his main
Hose.
hosts.
Well, I could see why he was
them his
attracted to
wives.
Crystal.
For- yeah.
Crystal meth.
Yes.
But what's her?
Yes.
Birch was his bottom bitch. Birch is my bottom bitch, dog.
Right there.
She plays a big part in this, and she got some. Yeah, we'll get it. We'll go further
Oh,
into
yes.
that later.
Yes.
We'll get there.
Okay. So
Maybe.
Pazuzu's house, I'm going to tell you guys straight up exactly the location. I know they already demolished the house, but it was 2749 Nob Hill Drive. It became a hub for those outcasts and misfits. They could come and stay for as long as they wanted.
Come.
Pazuzu did not care what they did in the home. Like everything was up for grabs, like you guys were saying.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah, you could do whatever you
fucking
want.
shit in the
Activities,
corner.
yes.
Fucking.
Included self-harm, drinking the blood of birds, performing rabbit sacrifices,
Yeah.
doing drugs,
Fighting people, fucking
staging orgies.
shitting in the corner.
He just didn't want
pissing
him
in
to
the
fuck his
floors.
dogs.
Dogs running around, eating the shit. Just fucking.
Yeah, there was garbage everywhere. There was actually animal carcasses just decaying everywhere. Big old aroma of urine
People
would just
people say like
hit your face.
whenever you walk up to the house, the first thing you smell is just that ammonia, fucking nasty ass urine. Just smell as soon as you open the door, just fucking hit you in the
Yeah.
mouth. And I'm telling, I cannot. Looking at the videos and seeing the inside of this place, oh my god,
How can you
dude.
do that?
I understand, and I mean, I say that, but drugs are fucking bad, man, and people do a lot of shady shit and live in some fucking squalor just to fucking get high.
Yeah.
And this 5-part series portrays that and puts it out there very well. Like
Yeah.
it shows these fucking people.
There are tons of places out there that just do that.
Ugh, man.
Lots of homes.
And like you were talking about, like with the females, and evidently he slept with a lot of females.
Yes.
Who probably, and the bad thing about it is some of these girls in here, and it's just the real life everywhere, you know, are fucking hung up on heroin and all kinds of other shit, and they're real pretty,
Yeah.
but they're on these fucking drugs.
Do whatever it takes to get a fix.
Exactly.
Yes.
And then, ugh,
Yes.
God, disgusting.
Yes.
Blech. Blech.
Yeah.
Nasty motherfucker.
Motherfuckers.
Where's my bottom bitch at?
Bertha.
But go ahead. I don't know if you got any more you want to read on that, or
That's pretty much what I want to touch base and get the beginning.
yeah,
side
because
for
like
sure and lead
I
us
mean,
into
so basically
how
this
deep it goes.
this guy, you know, like Breezy was saying, this town was highly religious. They believe very deeply in the good versus evil,
Yes.
and so
They would have parades.
yeah, I
like
mean literally.
legit.
Yeah.
And
It's
what's
community.
what's the best way to be an outcast in a place like that? Be the most evil person you could fucking
Yeah.
be, or
Be
portray
the bad guy.
portray yourself to be.
And he played it. He was the bad guy.
So, you know, you talk about the street that he lived on. It was in this town called Winston-Salem. Now,
Yes.
do you get the correlation there?
Yes.
Yeah, that's where the cigarettes come from, Winston-Salem. It was a really cool town. It's a beautiful town. People still, you know, want to live there. It's a nice place to live. But this house was in a kind of like picturesque neighborhood, and it stuck out like a sore thumb because, you know, of course, the outside of the house wasn't too bad. There was some.
The porch was
trash out there.
fucking-
Yeah,
The porch was
graffiti,
disgusting,
yes.
but what this
Graffiti
guy
on the
did
door.
is he painted the front door pitch black.
Yes.
Just to irritate the neighbors.
And put a bunch of like stuff up on the door.
Yeah, like a satanic imagery
Yep.
and
Yeah, all
stuff, you
kinds of
know.
stuff.
Pictograms. And,
You know, in this place, so where this is at is in Winston-Salem, North Carolina. If you don't know where that at,
You don't know
Where that at?
Get out of
Where that
here.
be?
If you don't know where that's at, it's about 90 miles northeast of Charlotte. So
Yeah, it's like a small suburb.
yeah.
But
But yeah, so
this guy, like I was saying, portrayed himself to be this like evil fucking try to get people to believe him that he was psychic and could change the weather and do all this stuff, and made himself look like what the townspeople would picture as being the worst human being you could fucking find.
Yeah.
don't piss on my head and tell me it's raining.
Yeah. But, you know, which in this house probably happened a lot.
It probably did.
Ugh,
Oh, yes.
Probably did.
Like, I mean, just watching, like I said, watching the videos and seeing the way this house was, and the whole time this guy's mom is living with him. Mm-hmm. And, like,
seeing all this go down.
yeah, and we're gonna get into some of the why
Some of the weirdness.
why he's a murderer and all this other stuff. But you know, we prescribed, we described described what he looked like. You know, he was, I mean, evidently, if he supposedly only like bathed once a year, if that. Very nasty looking, grody, hair all nappy.
Yeah, he had long dreadlock hair and
tatted
tattoos on his face that made absolutely.
Which I love tattoos, but when you're just tattooing fucking gibberish all over your face, like
you know, he had a lot of satanic images tattooed on him, and
he wanted to invent
he just wanted to go as dark as he possibly could.
Yeah, one thing that this series did is fucking like put the fucking smell and the like the look in your head.
It was aroma vision.
Like you could tell that, you know, these cops who were investigating were like, dude, is that smell just coming from the house, or is this something? I don't know if any of you guys have smelt like just a rancid piss. Like I've cleaned out old folks' homes back in the day when I was younger. I would go with just as a side job when I was like 14 and help clean out these giant like old folks' homes. Sorry for if old folks listening, no offense, but I would clean them out, and the smell. Fuck.
And just think, his was like 100% way worse than what you're describing.
When you can smell it, as soon as you hit the porch, like you know
there's urine, there's
bad.
Things.
Did
Corpses.
you deliver 10 extra sausage on a Saturday night?
Yeah. But
sorry.
But yeah, I mean, so this guy basically, like Bree said, brought in all the misfits, and kind of his house was the place for the addicts to go.
Yeah.
And, you know, kids who wanted to party.
What a nice guy he was.
What a lovely
He just
fella.
opened his door for all the neighborhood kids to come in. They had a safe place to, do their
Mr.
heroin
Rogers.
and piss on hookers.
And shit in the floor. Fucking
kick a dog.
let the dogs eat it. And,
Why not?
disgusting. The friggin' disgusting. But a lot of people.
So have we burned this image into your head yet?
It's disgusting.
It's gross.
God. But anyway,
let's move on.
there's a lot of people who were close to actually he would let get close to him. You know, there's one guy on here. What's his name? Matt. What's his name?
Matt Fowler.
Fowler. He was actually he was a vet. He went overseas and he came back, and he was friends with him, but it was crazy because he's like, throughout the movie or throughout the series, he kind of says, like, yeah, he's one of my friends, but I hate him.
Yeah.
And he didn't it was
a love-hate relationship.
Love-hate, yeah. He was caught in between that.
He disagreed with what he was doing.
Because he actually is the one who turned him in the first time.
And the only one to knock him out.
Yeah, but he was super close with him, and he knew the real shit. And he even says in this that he was like a poser. Really, is that he was just trying to put off this front. But he was also, like we said from the beginning, when he was a kid, he also has mental problems.
Yep.
So you put that.
What?
Yeah, he has not nipple perfect placement of his nipple.
Hello.
But
he needs to watch Friday the 13th remake.
Yes, but no, like he has mental issues. So you put all that together, and it's just a shitstorm. And then in this town, which we're gonna get into. Like, the police aren't there's something going on in this town. Yeah. A lot of people knew what was going on, but they kind of just let it happen. So, he's had multiple reports. And I think the first time whenever his friend Matt Fowler had called the police on him, because he had been hearing about there being a dead person buried in the backyard, which we're going to get into in a second. The cops were just like, yeah, he said he didn't do it, so we just kind of left.
Yeah, they did a lazy search throughout the house.
The cops actually went to his house with a search warrant.
With the dog.
And they claimed they couldn't find anything.
Shallow graves, guys. Come on now.
Yeah, come on. Come on, guys.
They're hiding something.
Yeah, because he literally said, Matt Fowler said that when he eventually got what the story what happened was, and they dug like such a shallow grave that the guy that we're going to talk about in a minute, his fucking knees were still hanging out of the hole.
Yeah.
So
and
they just covered up with a
tarp?
fucking tarp.
Yeah.
It's like, I mean, so what do you mean you evidently didn't search the house?
No.
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 But so we'll get into, so like you guys know, this place was a hangout spot. You know, it was a spot for people to do drugs and this and I mean everything. So that's going to attract people who are down in the dirt, down in the ditches. You know, they got their life's not very fucking good at the moment.
Yeah.
So they come there either to sell drugs or buy drugs or whatever it may be.
Hang out
So-
with people like that.
Let's get into. So I guess there's 2 murders that they know for sure.
For sure.
There's no telling how many, but there's 2 for sure they know about, and we're gonna get into one of them right now. So
There's Josh Wetzler. And what's crazy with him, okay, so backstory, before all this happened, before he got murdered and whatnot, he ended up getting in trouble by the police because he got caught with shrooms getting found through the mail. So the whole town already looked at him as a misfit, no good or whatnot, and Pazuzu opened his arms and brought him into the family.
yeah, and just real quick, a little bit more about him.
Yeah.
You know, he was actually from what his ex tells
His
and
wife.
his wife,
Yeah.
says and stuff like that. You know, he was a very good person.
Yeah.
And he's cared about his son so much that he
lost his way.
He lost his way, and he had no other way to make money.
Mm-hmm.
So he started selling drugs.
Yeah, no one else would hire him because of his past history.
So there you go. He was very good with horses.
Yep.
From what I understand, he would.
They bought a ranch.
They bought a ranch, and then that's when everything went down. They started losing everything, and you know how life
Lost
goes
it to
sometimes.
the bank.
It sends you into the downward spiral. So this guy was a good man and was trying to do stuff. From what I understand, I didn't know him personally, guys. This is what I'm getting from my information.
Yes.
He was a good guy who just wanted to take care of his family, and you know,
Got caught up.
chose the path and got caught into the situation.
Yeah.
The path of righteousness.
The path of righteousness.
Which led him to Pazuzu's place, which eventually led to his death,
Yeah.
which we're going to talk
Apparently,
His
like
untimely
what?
death.
Didn't they shoot him in the back of the head and then dismembered his
that's-
arms and legs and his penis?
Well, that's kind of a weird story because at the time of his death, Pazuzu's mother was in the house.
Yeah.
She was getting ready to go to work.
And they
Yeah.
kept him in the basement for a
And
couple
they kept
days.
him in the. Well, he was staying with them because he claimed he didn't have anywhere else to stay.
Yeah.
So he had been there for a while. Well, she heard a loud banging noise.
Yeah.
And she walked down and she saw Pazuzu with a gun in his hand, and it was pointed at Wetzler.
Yeah.
And
Well, they said they had starved him. They kept
Yeah,
him
they
down
starved
there.
him. All the
Okay.
everybody who came into that house
Would beat him.
Pazuzu would tell him, you know, if he tries to escape the basement, grab him and throw him back in.
And they would go down
He-
there and like kick the
torture
shit out
him.
of him, and like they starved him out, didn't feed him or nothing, and
Yeah.
back to the story. you
yeah,
were
well, and it was just, so the mom walks down and sees him pointing this gun at the guy.
Yeah.
And she's like, "Oh God, they're whatever. They're just fucking around," because she knows her son's crazy
Yeah.
at this point.
Yeah.
And this lady, she goes ahead and turns around and goes back upstairs and continues to get ready for work. Well, while she's getting ready for work, she hears the gun go off several times.
Oh, wow.
So what does she do? She grabs her
Continue.
keys and she goes to work.
Continues on her way.
Yeah, just
Just another
like
day.
nothing happened.
Just another day. It's crazy.
Yeah, I think there's more to that.
So-
I think she had more to do with all that shit.
I do too.
He actually killed him. Well, they filed a missing persons report in 2010. He actually disappeared in 2009.
But the town actually, or people, outsiders of the town, just kind of figured that kind of person, him, ended up just abandoning his family.
and running
Right,
off.
Yeah.
right.
And see, the thing is
So they
that
didn't even try looking for him. That's
Yeah.
what's sad.
Yeah.
the thing is too is that what people got to realize is that Pazuzu this whole time is getting all fucked up and telling people, "Yeah, I got a guy in the basement,"
He's
and
decaying.
no one really believed
And you
that.
could smell it too.
No one really believed that dude was dead. You know, they didn't believe that there was somebody down there, at all. Like they're like, "Oh wait, whatever, dude. Yeah, sure, we'll stop him if he tries to run out of the basement."
Yeah.
And then, so basically, what we're getting at here is like most of the people knew that something was fucking going on to a certain extent.
Oh, for sure.
Right.
And then it's like I don't know, the police just seemed like they did some shady ass work.
They did.
You know.
I mean, his car ended up getting impounded, and instead of, calling his wife to let him know, hey, your husband's car's been impounded. Like, she knew that that's just not like how he is to just go off missing. She just kind of figured he just left him. But if his car was just sitting there, she knows that he wouldn't leave without his car.
Right.
She
Yeah.
always felt in her gut that something was wrong, but she thought it was ridiculous that the cops never even called her.
Yeah, she kept
She was
trying
in
to
the
get
dark.
the police to look into it, and they, because of the guy's past, they
Yeah.
didn't want anything to do with it.
Yep.
So yeah, as Breezy was saying, Pazuzu shot and killed. What's his name again?
Josh Wetzler.
Josh Wetzler.
Yes.
And he shot him and stuff, but also, like Breezy said,
Him and one of his friends.
him and a friend of his cut off his arms, his legs,
and
his penis.
Yes.
And
Penis, penis, penis.
Dug a shallow grave.
dug a shallow ass grave.
Man, that must have been a small penis.
Yeah.
Well, thing too is, look at you heartless
The
fuck.
thing is with the friend,
Yeah,
at some of
sorry.
the parties, what's crazy is with the friend who helped, bury Josh, at one of the parties after the burial, he brought one of his other friends out and says, don't you realize how
Flat.
how unlevel,
unlevel
the background,
back-
the backyard is?
He said there's multiple bodies back
yeah,
there.
multiple.
And the thing is, too, is like this is where the females come in. This is like I was talking about, Birch being his bottom bitch because she actually helped.
Yeah.
And I think that she was a major player in the actual like dismemberment.
Oh,
and
absolutely.
all that of.
She was as twisted as Pazuzu.
And they would help. She actually was talking to another female about how like they couldn't get the grave deep enough,
Yeah.
and like so the guy's knees were still hanging up out, so they just threw a fucking tarp over it. So, I mean,
Amazing. How
Just
did the
like
cops
Charles
not
Manson.
find that when they went
exactly.
there the first
How
time?
did the cops not see that shit? And
Maybe they were too scared to approach a character just like that. I mean, I don't know. Maybe they didn't know how to handle it. I mean, you're in that kind of community and everybody's
we're just
scared of
gonna
this.
pray the
We're just-
evil away.
Just pray it. Pray it away.
But yeah, so we're gonna get into Birch a little bit here. She had been, I guess, like I said jokingly, but she was like Pazuzu's number one female,
Yeah.
and like
his right hand man, pretty much.
yeah, she would bring other females in, and they would do their thing and this and that. She would always, whatever Pazuzu wanted to do, they did.
Yeah.
And whether that's killing someone and hiding a body or whatever it is.
Mm-hmm.
So that was the first. Did they talk a lot about the second killing?
Not really. No.
Yeah, I know they linked another one to him, but for sure. But they don't know how many people that were killed because of the amount of just fucking dead bodies.
It was what?
And-
Tommy Dean Welch.
Yeah.
Yes,
Yeah.
that's right. He was. Go ahead.
If you guys don't mind, I want to talk about a little criminal activity here and
Do it.
these victims.
Do it.
So we talked about the Josh Wetzler guy. The other guy was, you just said, Tommy Dean Welch.
Yeah.
There was actually a third killing that he was a part of, and that guy's name was Joseph Chandler.
That's right.
And he was African American descent, 30-year-old man. He
Legally blind.
His mother. They did an interview, and his mother was talking about how, he had gotten into drugs at a very young age, but then he had straightened himself out and was leading a clean life.
Yep.
Well, this Pazuzu and another guy named Rizu
Yep.
were up in Clemens at some point, and somehow this Chandler guy ends up getting shot in the head in the same creek where Pazuzu used to practice his black magic.
Yeah.
Now it's kind of weird if you look at the criminal aspect of that. I'll kind of get into some stuff and talk about it here. So I just kind of want to get into his background a little bit, the Pazuzu. So in 2008, he was convicted of larceny. He was given probation. Okay. In 2011, he was convicted of misdemeanor assault, and that assault was on his own mother.
Yep.
And this Birch lady, Amanda? Amanda Birch. Anyway, she was also convicted in the misdemeanor assault of his mother. Well, then you go back in 2010, which a year prior before this assault, Pazuzu was arrested in connection with a shooting, and that was the shooting death of Joseph Chandler. He was arrested. The Rizzo guy was arrested. They had the trial in 2012. He was convicted of involuntary manslaughter.
Yep.
And they gave him probation.
Yeah.
The Rizzo guy was convicted, and he served some jail time.
He got 30 years in prison. Well, the thing is, too, is like you were talking about with manslaughter. They came up with some story about how the guy accidentally got shot in the head. And
wasn't he just going in his pocket to get a lighter?
Yeah, from what I
trying to pull out a gun or something.
Like that, yeah.
From what I understand too is that he didn't really even know these guys. That
No.
So
they just spotted him out and said, "Hey, let's." I'm pretty sure Pazuzu was like, "Hey, let's kill him."
Fuck yeah, yeah. You know, and that's what I'm saying.
It's just weird that this guy died, and he was kind of an accessory after the fact, is what they claim.
Yeah.
And all he got out of that was probation.
Yeah.
Didn't
crazy.
serve any time in jail.
Nothing.
What the fuck?
Yeah, and that's the thing we were talking about, like in this town, like the police is.
Well, and that was in a different town. That was in Clemens. That was, but it's all.
I think it's looking at that character.
It's all in that same county.
Yeah.
It's all part of the same
Looking at that
sheriff's
character.
department.
Yeah.
It's just crazy to me.
You got a pass. I mean, they're gonna look at you.
But yeah,
Right.
you get caught with some weed, and your ass is going to prison for life.
It's crazy.
Somebody mails you some shrooms. And,
Yeah, it's just
Crazy.
ridiculous, man. So Birch, she's been in trouble for, as you can tell, she's been with Pazuzu forever, and they did their thing or whatever. She, disgusting. But anyways, she was always antagonizing things, and
being that voice in his ear.
exactly too, and he didn't even need that, of course.
No, he was already like that.
But
anyway.
then when
He's
you
like,
have
"Okay, let's do it."
something in your ear fucking constantly going along with everything you fucking do, you get that other little bit of confidence or whatever you want to call it, that motivation to do what you're doing. And I just Pazuzu himself, which is what we're talking about here, is a guy himself.
Well, you can't just talk about him, though. This is kind of a whole
community
conglomerate. I mean, this guy truly was, for all intents and purposes, was a cult leader.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah.
He reminded me of
But
Charles Manson.
the reason why you got to talk about him is
whole
because
idea of it.
if he wasn't here, we wouldn't be having this conversation.
Right.
No.
Right.
So this guy made a point to put out this persona that he wanted to do, and he fucking went 100% with
He
it.
fucking succeeded at it.
And when you do something like that, you have to, once you get to a certain level, you're gonna have to fucking nut up or shut up, as fucking they say.
Yeah.
Nut up or shut up, as they say in the great zombie land. Shout out Tallahassee.
Holla.
But so he had to keep pushing the envelope, and
Get that shock value.
what I'm trying to figure out about this is we kind of talked about this with the mother. I think she had a lot more to do with it than
Than what they let on.
what they're letting on.
Absolutely.
Well,
And I mean, I love my boys more than fucking life itself. I'll die for them. I wouldn't hesitate to jump in front of a fucking train for them or anything. But I also love them enough to know that if they're doing something like this, then I need to fucking get them help.
Yeah, and that's what I was going to say. A lot of times, and I'm not going to say this is every case out there because every case is different, but there are so many times this really falls on the parents. I mean, come on, teach your kids right from wrong, and if you see a problem, it's like this. If you see something, say something.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, man. And that's what I'm getting at here is that I think she had a lot more to do with this shit than what they put off, because they even arrested her at one point, didn't they?
Yeah. Yeah. When did they get arrested though? Do you guys know?
I can't remember the time. I know that.
You mean the final time?
Yeah.
It was in 2014.
2014. Yeah.
And I actually have that if we want to hit that real quick.
Well, I've got
Okay.
the ending aftermath, like the suicide and the aftermath.
Okay.
Suicide.
So
supposedly.
what happened was this Fowler guy who was friends with him.
Yeah.
He went to the police and he told the police, he's like, look, I am telling you guys, there are 2 bodies buried in that backyard. And if you guys aren't going to do anything about it, I'm going to go kill this fucker myself.
Yeah, didn't Fowler say that they finally took him serious because of his military background?
They finally saw how serious he was, and that he wasn't just fucking around. I mean, this guy was truly going to go kill this guy if the police didn't do something about it.
He had got into it with him before.
Yeah, so finally, and this Fowler guy, he's a fucking loose cannon too. I mean, to see this guy, he's got tattoos all over his head and his face.
He's got PTSD.
He's just a renegade. I mean, I don't know much about the guy, but he's got that. I mean, the guy was burning himself with cigarettes. I mean, he's just,
wearing the same shirt you have on right now, but
wearing the same shirt I've got on right now.
He was too.
He was.
Yeah, that's great.
That's why I wore it.
Great.
But the guy, he had some issues too, but the guy knew right from wrong.
Yes.
Well, he was in the military. He had
military.
He had PTSD.
Right.
He came home. He's seen a lot of fucked up shit. And
so what I'm getting at is this guy.
Shout out to the veterans.
Finally goes to thank you all for everything.
Everything.
This guy finally talks the police into going and really searching this place.
Yeah.
Sheriff's Department files for a search warrant. They get the Sheriff's Department involved. They get the Bureau of Investigation involved. The state police involved, and then also the university. What do they call it? The crime.
Yeah.
The forensic team.
Yeah.
Or
They also had to bring in the firemen too.
They get all these different. Entities involved in this, and they get a search warrant, and they go to this guy's property. They go to the house on October 5th of 2014. They search the entire property, and they finally find the 2 bodies in the backyard. And the 2 bodies are Josh Welkser and this Tommy Dean Welch.
Yep.
The bodies were so decayed, it was basically just piles of bones.
Yeah, they said thank God the skulls were there.
Now, to this point, those 2 bodies have been in those graves
exactly
for 5 years.
Yeah.
Exactly.
5 years.
Yeah.
Come on.
Yeah.
Somebody didn't
do anything for that long.
Come on. Really? So the Welkser guy, Josh Welkser, it disappeared in 2009. They didn't find his body until October 5th of 2014.
It's crazy.
Now, when we said this story was pretty recent, it's pretty recent.
Yeah.
It was just a few years ago that this happened. So, on 2014, this Pazuzu is finally arrested and arrested for murder of these 2 bodies.
Yeah.
And it goes to show you the poor fucking police work.
Our system, our society is crazy.
It's nuts.
Sad.
And
It's messed up.
You know,
So,
go ahead. Go
No,
ahead.
no, go ahead.
Fine,
Go
you're
ahead.
fine.
Go ahead.
You're fine. I was just gonna piggyback on what she was talking about.
yeah, go right ahead.
Because, like, you know, there's so many people. There's a shit ton of people in what's there, like 7 point something billion people in the world.
Yes, that's
Okay.
fairly accurate.
There's like 350 million people in the U.S. or something like that.
There's 3 people in this studio.
Hey.
There's
Sorry.
3 penises. I mean,
Yeah, I got a penis. I don't care. I'm bigger than any of y'all.
Thousands of people listening to us right
Kaplunk.
yeah, sevens of people. No,
now.
but
Sevens of people.
Sevens of people. How you doing?
but you know, there's problems. There's mental problems with peoples in this world, and in the United States, and the people get pushed out of the system or shoved under the rug.
Well, because they don't want to deal with them.
Exactly. And you know what? I want to bring this up because it makes a whole lot of sense. It's a money game. Adam Carolla, you guys know who that is, right? Adam Carolla did a interview a while back with Tucker Carlson. And I'm not getting political, guys. This is kind of has to do what I'm talking about. And what he was saying is that Tucker had asked him a question about, well, what about all the homeless people and the drug addicts pooping in the streets and doing all this shit, living on the streets with tents and all this stuff? And he's like, why can't they do something about that? And he's like, well, because they can't make any money off of them.
Yeah.
If they arrest them, they just have to spend more money arresting them. So they want to arrest someone for banging heroin and shitting on a sidewalk and having
San
sex.
Francisco?
Yes, and having sex on the
It
sidewalk
costs the
and,
taxpayers money.
and doing all this stuff. But they're going to pull someone over for. They will pull someone over on the other side of town for having a taillight out
Yeah.
and give them a ticket. And what I was getting at there is that it's a money game. Everything
is.
is about money. And you know what money is? Money is fucking nothing. Money is nothing.
newspaper.
Money is a concept.
It's the root of all evil.
It's a fucking concept. That's all it is. You know, it's just a concept. But what I was getting at is that people like this, fucking, just because they can't make money off of it,
Yeah.
they don't. It's just they
Right.
don't do nothing about it.
Right.
No.
So this is all coming to a head,
Yes.
and
Oh, it's already come to a head.
yeah.
Yeah.
Now we're gonna pop that bitch.
Just the tip.
Squeeze it. Squeeze it.
But so as we said, finally they find the damn bodies, and finally believe Matt. They go and check it out. They find the body that they looked so hard for the first time, and so people start getting arrested.
Yep.
Now Pazuzu gets arrested. Birch gets arrested. They even arrested his mom, right at
Yeah.
this point in time, and.
Yeah, she was never charged with anything.
No, she was never charged, but they did arrest
They
her.
charged Tommy Dean Welch, Crystal Matlock. Like, I've got all the things. I mean, okay, so in the early hours of October 28, 2015, Pazuzu was found dead in his prison cell at Central Prison in Raleigh, North Carolina. Get this, the death was ruled as a suicide. Apparently he bled to death as a result of a deep cut on his left arm. The instrument Pazuzu used remains unknown.
They're trying to say it was his teeth. They're trying to say he bit himself, which is why I
He
said
bit
that
a
the
big
teeth,
hole in his arm
that
and he
the
bled
teeth,
to death.
yeah, that the teeth are going to come into play.
Now, what's he was in a different prison, and they moved him to this other prison in Raleigh, North Carolina,
Because
they put him on safety watch.
Yeah,
Suicide watch.
suicide
You know,
watch.
like suicide watch. And
They just didn't have any room or anything like that to deal with that.
right.
yeah, and you know, so they're trying to say that he bit himself and killed himself that way. Who knows what happened? I don't give a shit. He's a worthless fuck and he's
Yeah.
dead.
Yeah.
Now, Birch, his bottom bitch, as I said,
Amber Birch.
she got sentenced to 30 years or 35 years or something
Yeah,
like
second
that
degree murder.
for second degree murder.
Armed robbery.
And
accessory.
the crazy thing about this too is that we didn't really mention it. We haven't talked about it. Is that there was another girl whose dad hung out with, for some reason, was hanging
Yeah.
out with Pazuzu.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And soon as she figured out what was going on, she called the cops too.
Yeah.
Right.
So there was other people that had reported this shit. But Birch got sentenced to 35 years or whatever. So she's in there, and Pazuzu, supposedly killed himself, just like Epstein.
No, this really happened.
But the crazy fucking thing about this too is that oh gosh, what's his name? I keep fucking forgetting his name. The guy they murdered, whose wife?
Oh, Josh
Wetzler.
Welkser.
Yeah.
Josh Welkser's wife. This whole time, she's struggling and all this. She has her son.
Her son, yeah.
They're moving from place to place. She had no idea who the fuck Pazuzu was.
No,
Yeah.
nothing.
Yeah.
She didn't know a damn thing about
Until
it
he got arrested and it came out.
until the whole case came out.
Yeah.
So she has been reporting this whole time since her husband's been missing.
Yeah.
And the cops wouldn't even tell her that they're kind of looking at this guy.
Right.
And she had no idea who the fuck guy was until they got arrested
Yeah.
for the murders. It's crazy. I just don't get it. It's crazy to me. But
Yeah.
Yeah.
So guys, go ahead.
So here's another weird thing that happened. So he kills himself in prison. They take his body back to Winston-Salem.
Yeah.
They take him to a funeral home there in Salem. I think it was called the Salem Funeral Home or something like
Yeah.
that. They take him to this funeral home. The funeral home, because of their religious background, they refused to do anything with his body. They weren't going to embalm him. They weren't
I
going to
believe
do
that.
anything.
Oh, I believe that.
So what they did is they cremated this guy and put his ashes in a box. And to this day, his box of ashes is still in the basement of this funeral home.
Yep.
Nobody has ever claimed his ashes or his remains.
Wow, I didn't know that.
Yep. Yeah.
Let's go get it.
Yeah.
Fuck.
Now, there's another guy that I really want to mention before we get out of here. There was a man, his name was Chad Nance. He was the editor of the Camel Toe. Oh, I'm sorry. The Camel City Dispatch. Boy, don't screw that up. He was the editor of the Camel City Dispatch, and he wrote a fantastic article about this.
And he's in
called-
this series a lot.
Yeah.
It's called "The Boogeyman Cometh."
Yes.
And he goes through a lot of this stuff. Now, this Chad Nance guy is in this The Devil You Know series.
Yes, which is great. Check it out.
Which is really cool. There's a lot of cool information, a lot of
Yeah, they
stuff
get
that
in-
we haven't even touched on.
Yeah, they get in depth with
They get
all
really in
everything.
depth with it, but they also had 5 hours to tell a story.
Yes.
We don't. This guy actually ended up, while all of this is going on, ended up having problems with his own son. His own son showed up at the house all strung out on dope one night.
Yeah.
And so, it was a really hard thing for him to deal with, going through this Pazuzu story and then, having to
Watching
deal with
your
his own son.
Yeah.
But this Chad Nance guy knows more about this story than anybody out there.
Oh,
because
yeah.
Oh,
he
for sure.
looked so much into it and, was part of it. Not part of it.
You
but
could tell he was passionate.
yeah,
he dug in deep.
Put the story together and, just crazy.
Yeah.
I can't. When Bree first brought this story up to us, I was like, "Oh, Pazuzu, we're going to talk The Exorcist again." And then I started looking into the guy, and I was like, "What the?" I honestly, I'd never heard of this story.
Yeah. I came
I'd never
across
heard
it
this
on
story, and I can't-
YouTube.
and I'm sure it made national news.
Oh,
It
for
had to
sure.
have.
For
Yeah,
sure.
they had a bunch of different news tapings in there. Yeah, it's a great story.
But I had never heard of it, and I was like, "What the?"
Yeah, I
fuck
came
is
across
wrong?"
it and I was like, hey guys, we got to totally
What
touch
the
base
hell?
because this is something.
I'm telling you.
And it's funny because we talked about this because we were talking about doing a serial killer episode.
Yeah.
Now, this guy, honestly, you can't consider him a
No,
serial killer.
no, I
But
wouldn't.
the story was just too fantastic not
Yeah.
to tell. I mean,
And I mean,
but you got to look at it this way. It's such a recent case. Who knows how many people he actually
Yeah.
murdered
Yeah,
or
there may be
coaxed
some
his
more coming
friends
out.
into murdering for him.
yeah.
I mean, I heard stories I came across. Apparently, like one of his friends ended up saying there was a night that they ended up kidnapping 2 prostitutes and murdered them. but they never said the
Never
names
found
or
the
whatnot.
bodies,
yeah, yeah,
Yeah, so who fucking knows?
Nobody,
man?
no crime.
It's crazy.
exactly.
Or maybe they have found a body and no one knows who killed them.
Yeah,
So, it just goes to show you guys that there are other creepy things and scary things out there that are 100% real.
Yeah.
And they're 100% human. And you always got to be aware of your surroundings and the people
absolutely.
and the people you
So-
put around yourself.
Know your
So pay
neighbors.
attention to your kids.
Oh,
You know,
I want
your
to say this
family.
right now, and I don't want to go. I don't want to get too into this because this is not the right platform. I don't think, but I want to get it out there because it's important.
Yes,
There's a lot of fucking fucked up people out in this world.
yes.
A lot of them.
3 of them are right here.
Yes, but
it's a sad, sad world now.
when you have kids, your job as a parent is to take
protect
care of them, protect them. It all means
form
necessary.
Teach
them.
them.
And teach them. Okay? So, speak to your kids. Don't fucking worry about. My son is 6 years old, and I tell him if he asks me a question about something, I fucking tell him.
Yes,
Drugs, alcohol, all that shit. Okay?
Yes.
Just be aware of your kids. Be a better parent. If you're having kids and you're not taking care of your kids, I gotta say this.
shame on you.
Fuck you. That's all I
Shame
gotta
on
say.
you.
Fuck you.
Ryan standing in his doorway.
Fuck you.
Ryan standing in his door with his kid, and I'm walking towards the door, and he points at me. He says, "You see that guy? Don't ever fucking grow up to be like that."
Kick him in the nuts. Kick him in the nuts. No, guys, just it's important. Be aware of your surroundings. Watch out. Watch out for everybody else. Watch out for each other. That's what we're here for,
Yes.
man.
You see somebody going down, help them up.
Yeah.
Unless it's your old lady.
Yeah. Oh, they get her from the backside.
Yeah. Anyways, guys, that's a good note to leave it on. We love you guys. Thanks for all your support. I mean, it's going great. This year's doing awesome. And again, real quick, if you want to come on the show, be a guest. We're always looking. At least once a month we have a guest. Let us know. Hit us up. You know where to find us. We told you at the beginning. We're not doing it again. We love you guys.
We
Thanks for
love
support.
ya.
And as always, until next time, keep it creepy.